Hi, this is Ray Flanagan. I'm here today again with Sherry Goodman Graham, a plant-based nutritionist out of Arkansas. I'm up in Connecticut. This is our third podcast of 2025. And I thought this afternoon, Sherry, maybe we could talk about our diets, what's good, they say what's good for our heart is also good for our brain. So I guess it makes sense that what's clogging the arteries in your heart and causing heart attacks, your blood's got to go to your brain. That's the freaking center right here. So it's so important to keep yourself hydrated and keeping the blood flowing to your brain. So what do you think about that?
I love that you brought that up because Dr. Ornish is one of our heroes. He's one of the first pioneers in the whole plant-based field. He just did a study that was on CBS. I don't know if any of y'all saw that. It was really fascinating, but he was trying to really prove that a plant-based diet and exercise and meditation, those three components helps build up the brain and either reverses Alzheimer's or helps prevent it from progressing, which was fascinating. It was tested. And so you're right, that makes sense. Like what's good for your heart, reducing the saturated fats and the cholesterol also is good. Whatever is healthy plant-based is going to also be good for your brain, which, I just had a DNA test done on my own. It was a saliva test, which was so fascinating. I found out so much about my body and what my genetics, and I actually came out that I carry the celiac disease, which means that I should be gluten free. So I'm eating no gluten, which I'm enjoying completely. I've never realized maybe that was a missing piece for me. So you never know what your missing piece is. But I know we've talked in detail, and I'm there to support you, your wife. Tell us a little bit about your wife.
Yeah, so some of the listeners might know, but most probably don't, that in 2014, my wife was in a car accident and suffered a severe concussion. She was out of work 6 months, going through physical therapy. We had seen neurologists, and she was, they thought, progressing, but when she did finally go back to work, she struggled with her work, and it was then 3 years later in 2017 she was diagnosed with dementia, and in 2018 with Alzheimer's. But we had done a saliva test as well. I think it's called 23andMe was the company we used, and we had met a doctor, a very progressive doctor, that felt that we should check the DNA in her because there is a gene that some of us carry that makes us more susceptible to Alzheimer's and dementia. The gene is called APOE4. And people can Google that. But as far so what I started doing once we knew she had some problems, we had made the change. We were eating quite healthy already, but we went fully whole food plant-based. And I think it's one of the reasons why we slowed it down a little bit. She's been in a facility now 2 years, but we still had a couple of good quality years after the accident. And I think because she kept walking, we were eating properly, she was meditating, playing music. So, but absolutely, what's good for your heart is good for your
For
brain.
your brain.
And
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 that's like, even if we don't do the saliva test or we don't do the DNA test, as long, as if we're committed to eating those whole foods, the pure foods from the earth and not doing any of the processed foods, you have to be healing your body, that inflammation. And I think that's what people are confused about is the omega-6, omega-3 ratio. And that's the inflammation. That's the killer. That's what's making you so sick. So at least eliminating the process, whether you still eat certain fish or some people want to fight for their limitations, they want to eat a plant-based or grass-fed steak, whatever, at least eliminate the processed foods. And Dr. Ornish has tested that. Wow, if that slows down your progression in Alzheimer's, it's just going to also make you think clear, have more energy, able to focus, and overall more clarity eating a whole food plant-based diet.
you can only imagine that if you had started your children doing this from day one, eating healthy instead of trying to make some major change at 45 or 50 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
So if someone was eating healthy, and I coach soccer, and typically in youth soccer games, what do? They take the kids out for ice cream or pizza. That's it. Always, the big treat is let's go for pizza or ice cream. So you know, I also remember in high school that in halftime, we always ate oranges, and, you know, you weren't eating pizza at halftime, were you? You know, so, you know, I think it's fairly simple. It's all common sense. And I think it's true. What's good for your heart's good for your brain. And people have strokes, these strokes, that's clogged blood vessels in your brain, you know,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah, and being on a statin isn't going to heal it. Like that's just the Band-Aid. We talked about that before because then you still stay on the diet, but you get these low numbers. But those are just being artificially reduced. That's not coming from an internal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
then the other thing, not only diet, but alcohol. Certainly, there's a lot of alcohol related dementia, you know.
Oh my gosh, did that? I'm telling you that alcohol is the worst for not only dementia, but just overall health and inflammation. I agree with you.
And there was a study came out this year that said even one drink is cancerous. They're talking about alcohol and cancer as well. So, you know, I think if you're really serious about your health, you know, alcohol should probably be the first thing to go.
And same with, let me just put this in also Diet Coke or any of those other kinds of pops or soda pops. Those are have to go along with alcohol. If you're not drinking alcohol and you're drinking those, you're still damaging your liver.
Yeah,
Huge poisonous risk to do. I mean, lifetime risk to drink that poisonous drink. So if I can get one thing out is to stop the soda and the alcohol. I pray that you do. It's only best for you. And I know it's easy for us to talk this way and make it seem so simplified, like you said, but I know that it's an addiction, just like heroin and cocaine and alcohol. It's not easy to get off of it. It just takes a lot of desire. When you have the desire, then it comes along, and in time you will make those changes. It's never too late, right? It's never too late.
absolutely. Sherry, great to see you again.
You
I'll
too.
post your
Good to see
website
you.
on YouTube, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, and I'm sending my best to you and your wife. I really pray for you.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Cheers. Bye bye now.
Bye.